Hi there, foodies, and welcome back to Food Facts. You know that on this channel, we love to talk about food, but we're not only interested in the taste of the food, we are super interested in the benefits that we can derive from eating the food. So today, we will be exploring a food that once considered poor man's diet, but mistakenly so. Today, we will see why, because we will be diving into the benefits that can be derived from including this humble vegetable in your diet. Now, let's talk a little bit about what cabbage is. Cabbage belongs to the cruciferous family of vegetables such as broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprout, among others. It is a leafy vegetable that grows in heads just like lettuce. It has tightly packed leaves. Cabbage was originated in Europe and Asia. Today, China is one of the largest producers of cabbage. Now, when I think of cabbage, I think of the green cabbage because that's actually the most common cabbage. But there are several varieties of cabbage. There's the Savoy cabbage, the bok choy, the red cabbage, among many others. But despite their differences in shapes and colors and textures, cabbage in general is packed with healing properties. Now, we will delve into some facts about this humble vegetable. And as it relates to planting the cabbage, we should note that it thrives very well in full sun and it needs a well-drained soil such as a sandy soil or clay soil. And in order to enhance the growth of it, it is very important to use garden compost. Now, these are my lovelies that I'm trying to grow in my tiny garden, and I will definitely give you an update on their progress. So let's continue with some facts. Now, if you are planting from seeds or you are just transplanting, it is a good idea to space them 12 to 24 inches apart, and you want to keep the soil consistently moist but avoid overwatering because this will cause disease for your crops. Another thing to note is that we want to keep the area where we plant our cabbage free from weed because weed tends to want to compete with our plants for water and nutrients, and we can't afford that. Now, with that being said, they said in the past that cabbage was poor man's diet, but in fact, cabbage is one of the healthiest food according to history. Now, it is packed with all kinds of essential vitamins and minerals. Vitamins such as vitamins B6 and 9, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K, and vitamin U, which we will discuss a little further down. It also has minerals such as potassium, phosphorus, iron, magnesium, calcium. In fact, cabbage is a calcium powerhouse, supplying us with as high as half of that of cow's milk. The cabbage also contains a plant compound called glucosinolate. The glucosinolate has been the focus of major research because apparently it contains anti-cancer properties. And that compound is the compound that is responsible for the odor found in the cruciferous vegetables. Now, as for the red cabbage, there is a compound in that cabbage which gives it its reddish purplish color. And that compound is a antioxidant pigment called anthocyanins. Now for the good stuff, we want to talk about the health benefits that we can get from cabbage because, guys, all foods have healing properties. Remember that our food is basically our medicine. Let your food be your medicine. Let your medicine be your food. So let's get into the health benefits that we can get from cabbage. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there's a vitamin U which they still have not decided whether or not it is a vitamin, but it is a compound that is in cabbage, especially in the raw cabbage. And consuming that, especially in the form of juicing the raw cabbage, it promotes healing of peptic and duodenal ulcers. And let me tell you this. For one, I remember I had duodenal ulcer in my early 20s, and they gave me all kinds of pills which help just for a little bit, but oh, I felt like this thing was going to haunt me for the rest of my life. And then I heard about cabbage juice, and I said, I am going to try the cabbage juice. And so that is exactly what I did. So I also added carrot juice to it, because the cabbage juice, it can be very strong. It can has a very strong taste to it. So you put the carrot juice to kind of mellow the taste of it. And that's what I use to overcome my duodenal ulcer. So this is not just in theory, this is actually fact. This is proven. So that is because of the vitamin U content that's in the raw cabbage juice. So the healing properties of cabbage, they are also helpful in aiding conditions such as liver cirrhosis, cancer, pancreatitis, hepatitis. And there's a present study that suggests that cabbage also helps to prevent mitochondrial damage. And those are like the tiny powerhouses that fuel our cells with energy from nutrients. So we know what can happen if those are damaged, because the cells are the building blocks of our bodies. And if our building blocks are messed up, then our health will be messed up. So it's awesome to know that cabbage is able to prevent that kind of damage. Now, cabbage is also effective in fighting cancer by inhibiting tumor growth due to its sulfur content, as well as a substance called histidine. Now, the vitamin K content of the cabbage, this plays a major role in blood clotting. When you get a cut or when you go to the dentist and you do an extraction, immediately that blood clot starts to form to bring about the healing of the gum or to bring about the healing of whatever wound that you have gotten. So that's the purpose of the vitamin K. It helps that blood clot to form, and it prevents the excessive bleeding, whether it is internally or externally. That is awesome stuff, guys. If you're diabetic, there's also some benefits in the cabbage for you because it helps to lower the blood sugar level. Another health benefits of the cabbage is the fact that it contains a powerful antioxidant called indole 3-carbinol, and this helps to detoxify your liver, and it also helps with the health of your skin. Now we want to move on to some of the culinary uses of cabbage. And we know that cabbage stir fry is awesome, especially when you put the red cabbage and the green cabbage together, and it also maximizes the nutrient that you get from putting the two of them together. You can also choose to put your cabbage in a stew. You can add it to other recipes. You can also choose to make it into a sauerkraut, or you can also do coleslaw, because lots of people love coleslaw. But the problem with the raw cabbage is that there are persons like those who have hypothyroidism. They should definitely avoid the raw cabbage because it affects the iodine absorption by the thyroid. And some people may also experience flatulence just eating cabbage in general. Just any vegetable in the cabbage family might affect some people digestion, because there's a sugar that is in the cabbage that is usually not digested until the bacteria in your gut ferment it. But what you can do when you're cooking your cabbage in order to tolerate it better is maybe you want to add some fennel seed to it, or you can just use a digestive enzyme supplement, or you can add other stuff to it, like I mentioned before, to make it more filling, so it doesn't leave you feeling that gassy, like adding carrots and other stuff to it and make it more of a filling meal. So just do your research, do whatever you like to do, and enjoy, use some cabbage and reap the benefits. These are some other ways you can incorporate the cabbage in order to reap the benefit. And one is the fact that I've mentioned before, you can juice the cabbage if you have any form of stomach ulcer. If you have intestinal parasites, you can drink a cup on an empty stomach every morning for 5 days. If you have gout, you can use the cabbage leaves as a poultice or compress. And now, before we wrap this video up, I want to leave with you an amazing fact as it relates to the cabbage, and it is the fact that the cabbage has been shown to give protection from radiation. And we know that in today's society, we are bombarded with all kinds of radiation. So make sure that you get you some cabbage. Well, thank you for watching. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe, and see you in the next video.